Hello Stampers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you a fun interactive card made with this free, yes it is free, Awesome Otter stamp set. It's free when you place a $50 order during Sale-a-bration. Sale-a-bration runs January 4th through February 28th, and this is one of the freebies that you can get. So first of all, we're going to go ahead and cut out this card. I also used Give It a Whirl dies. Wow, this is an amazing die set. It has 21 dies in it. And I have to admit, when I first saw it, I was a little bit overwhelmed, like, oh my goodness, what are you going to do with 21 dies? Well, it's not as overwhelming as it seems. First of all, this one is what we're going to use to cut the basic card front. This is the mechanism, the circle mechanism. We'll use that. There's 4 different windows that you can use: a heart, a rectangle, a circle, and a fan. Well, we're going to use the fan today. There's some other fun little hearts that go with the heart, some stars, some clouds. Just really a lot of fun. So I'm going to bring in my cutting machine and do some cutting. And normally I wouldn't always do all the cutting on the video, but I wanted to show you really how easy it is. So first of all, I took a 4 by 5.5 inch piece of Expressions in Ink Designer Series paper, which is gorgeous, and put this on top of it. We're using the base plate, the 1 plate, the 2 plate, and 2 3 plates. The 3 plates are the clear plates that actually do the cutting. And when you cut out, it's important to just square up all the plates and not have them off-centered, so you're not causing unnecessary wear and tear on your machine. So now we have the card front. And we're going to do our little window with the fan. So you want to make sure you're going the right way. There's the little circle, and you want to line this circle up with that circle. And for this card, I wanted to put my fan in the bottom, but you can put it anywhere on your card. I'll show you another video sometime soon using the heart, and it's going to be in a different location. But for this one, we want to go down, and I'll run it through again. And then the next thing that I want to do is cut out the center part. So I'll set this aside. That's what it looks like. And I just took a white square, 4 inches by 4 inches, and cut it out. And then the next thing that I did was it's best if you use thick white cardstock for this, but I didn't have thick white cardstock on hand. So what I did have on hand though were a bunch of these thin coasters that I used to sell on eBay. And they're really great for die cutting. And they're really great for this card. So I cut one of those out. But if you don't have any coasters like this on hand, which probably most people don't, you can use thick white cardstock, or you can even use several layers of the regular white cardstock glued together. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. And we've cut out what we need to cut out. Alright, so these are our little pieces, and what we can do, well, first of all, I want to stamp my otters. Now to do that, I used my Stamp-a-ratus. I went ahead and set it up, and I just put these little otters in the little windows. I don't know if you can see it. I think you can. There's like little windows, and those are what you want to stamp in for your card. And you also want to kind of figure out where in the window your image will be, and I already did that. So I went ahead and set this up. I put the otters on, and now I'm going to take my Memento stamp pad and ink the otters up. Now the cool thing about the Stamp-a-ratus is a couple of things. For one thing, I can mass produce these cards, and this is going to be a card that I offer for free for anybody who places a $50 plus order during Sale-a-bration. So I'm going to need to mass produce these. So if you notice, I re-inked it again because I wasn't quite happy with my image, and so now I have a nice image. So I'll set this aside, and I want to go ahead and I think I'll go ahead and color this, and then I'll glue it down. If I can find my, there it is. All right, my little coloring mat. So to color these, I used the stamping blends. And I'll just start with the fish, which I did in dark smoky slate. And I'm going to, this has a fine tip and a brush tip. I'm going to go ahead and use the fine tip because I just have a little area to color. And it looks like I could have stamped it one more time for a better image, but by the time I color it, you're not going to be able to tell. It's just going to look really good. All right, so there's my fish. And then the head, I used the light smoky slate. Once again, I'm going to use the fine tip. And when you use Stampin' Blends, you want to hold it at a 45-degree angle and just lightly press so that you don't damage the head on your marker. I'm going to zoom in a little. There we go. Now for the body of the otter, I used dark crumb cake and dark soft suede. And I'm just going to test it out. I think the crumb cake was the lighter color. Nope. Okay, light gray granite. Gosh, good thing I tested it over here. All right, light gray granite is for most of the center part of his body. Whatever you call that. I don't know what you call that. But I really love otters. I actually was born in California and lived there until I was 9, and we went on the ocean a lot. My family had a cabin cruiser, and it was a lot of fun to watch these otters float around in the ocean and eat shellfish, and they're just delightful little creatures. And I know also I've seen them at the zoo as well, but my fondest memories are watching them in California in the ocean there. Of course, they didn't have these cute little smiles, but still, they're very cute. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to take I've got dark crumb cake and dark soft suede. I'm just going to see which one's darker because I can't remember. Okay, so this one's the darker. So then I used dark crumb cake. I'm going to use the brush end this time, get it done a little faster. Aren't they cute? This Otters, just can't wait to make more cards with this. But as soon as I saw this stamp set, I just knew I had to use it with this Give It a Whirl die because I knew it would be really cute. And I have a special friend I'm actually going to make a fun birthday card for using this. And if you noticed in the Otter set, there was a little birthday hat. So this particular card's not a birthday card, but I'm going to make one into a birthday card. Probably tomorrow. Now, I guess if I'd have been thinking, I would have had one colored and ready to go, so you don't have to watch me color this, but I didn't, so you can watch me. I really like using Stampin' blends to color. And probably not the world's best artist, but with Stampin' blends, I think I do a pretty passable job. And then when you stamp an outline and then you can color it in, it doesn't matter if you can't really draw, or, I mean, anybody can color, right? And so there you go. Then I took the dark soft suede and I'm going to use the pointy end. I colored his little nose with it because it's a little darker color. Just his eyes, and then I just did a few little hairs. That looks good. I'll do his nose. He's looking up, so I'm going to do that. Looks great. This one is looking down, so I'll do his eyes and his nose and a few hairs. And did I miss anything? I probably did, but I'll come back and get it. All right, for the water, I used light evening evergreen and light soft succulent. The paper is actually evening evergreen, but I didn't want to do it all in evergreen because it would just be too dark. So I used the light soft succulent for the water, and it coordinates really well with the evening evergreen. Actually, we're going to put water up to there. And then you have to remember that this is going to rotate around, so you want to keep that in mind when you're coloring. So he's kind of floating in the water. You're looking at the top. Down for this one, so that's why I did the whole third in soft succulent. whereas this one's poking his head out of the water. So these Stampin' blends are alcohol markers, and so they have nice vibrant colors. This one, I decided he's poking his head out of the water too, so I just did water down at the base. So that's it for the soft succulent. And now I'm going to take the evening evergreen, the light one instead of the dark one. You could use the dark. And just do a few little waves and water droplets. There, how cute is that? Really a fun card. And that's it. So now we are ready to glue and assemble. These are the mechanisms, and for that I use my Tombow. And I wanted to line up, I'm going to pull on my silicone mat so I don't get glue on my sheet. I wanted to line up my little line, so I want to keep that in mind when I'm gluing. So the thing with the Tombow, you just don't want to get too close to the edge or it'll ooze out and be kind of gross. I mean, it'll dry, but still, you just want a thin layer. And now I want to match up my lines, like I said, and match up the scallops. Also, the good thing about Tombow is you've got a minute or so to wiggle it before it gets totally dried. So there. Now I have my two sheets. All right. And I used a mini brad. This is actually retired, but there's brads in the catalog if you don't have any brads. But I didn't buy any new brads, so I'm using this old brad. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up, kind of fold it back. All right, so there we go. There's our mechanism. Now I learned a few things making these. First of all, I didn't use a 5.5 by 4.25, 5.5 by 8. I mean, I used 5.5. I used 5.5 by 8, not 5.5 by 8.5, which is what you normally use. So it's a little bit narrower than a normal card, and the reason is that this front piece is just a little bit narrower than a normal card. So let's see if I can find my bone folder. Move my silicone mat. And another thing that I learned in making this is it's a lot easier to turn that mechanism if you punch a hole. So I did that, and it's really best if you get a pencil or something. There, that'll do, and mark it. So I'm just going to put two little pencil marks there, and this is a really old punch, but Stampin' Up's got great quality stuff, and these punches just last forever. So let me see if I can get in the light and see what I'm doing better. And that looks good. Put this back on and make sure I got it good enough. And yeah, it looks like I did. All right, the other thing that I did was on the inside sheet. I did an inside sheet, and I just cut a piece of white cardstock, 3.5 by 4 3/4, and I used the Stitched with Whimsy dies, and that's how I got this cute little pattern. And then I stamped at the bottom. I'm not going to do that in the interest of time, and colored him on the inside. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. Now, one thing I did was, instead of putting it right in the center, I kind of put it over to the left, and the reason is I didn't want it sticking out of my little window. So I'm just going to go ahead and use Tombow again for this. And like I said, I'm going to stick it closer to the left. I'm not going to center it so that it's not sticking out of my mechanism. All right, the other thing that I did, if I can find it. Oh, there it is. To put this mechanism on, you want to lift it up a little, so I used these foam adhesive strips. They're just little pre-cut strips, and I just took my scissors and, which are somewhere, I don't know. Oh, there they are. Gosh, I don't know why I can't find things when I'm on the camera. But here we go. So I just cut 2 little strips, and you could also use dimensionals, but this made it really easy. Just put one at the top and peel off the paper, and one at the bottom. So that lifts it up and makes it easier to turn the center dial. I already took it off. Okay, perfect. And so now I just want to hover it and center it. And we are almost done with this really cute card. The last thing I did was make a sentiment. I first of all stamped "You are utterly awesome" on my white cardstock, and then I cut this out. These dies are from the Ornate Frames die set, which is really pretty. Got some really pretty frames there. And here it is. And I'll go ahead and use my Tombow again, since that seems to be what I'm using today. Now, when I make this card as my free card for anybody who places a $50 plus Sale-a-bration order, I'm going to mass produce them, so I'll crank them out a lot faster than what I did on this video, using my Stamparatus. And there you go, we are done with this really cute card. Now notice the paper is like completely different on both cards, but how cute is that? Then the inside's got this cute little otter. So I hope that you'll place an order. There's my website, and if you do and you place a $50 plus order, I will send you this card in the mail. Thanks for joining me today. Have a wonderful stamping day. Bye.